Hello, LegendAqua here, and it's been a long time, mainly because I do this seasonally, but it's time for my favorite animes of winter 2024. And, well, let's just say my selections this season was smaller than usual. You'll see why, even though this is looking like a lot. So, first up is Classroom of the Elite, Season 3. And this is classic Classroom of the Elite style. You know the deal, it's mind games with very smart characters, etc, etc. You guys know the deal with this. But it's continuing on from that. And, well, two major focuses for this season. It's namely on, we get a bit of background towards Koji, finally, but we get also a bit from Suzune. Like, she actually does get a bit of very good character development because she has been a satellite character for a while. But the two biggest ones is actually Honami, which I'm actually very pleased about because she was obviously the Class B leader, but we didn't know much about her. She was a nice girl most of the time, but we finally got a lot of character development towards her and why she functions like she functions. And that's a good thing for me because, yeah, now Taoyama voices her. It's kind of obvious I really like her. But the other one is Arisu finally gets some... a bit of backstory and why she's connected to Koji, but it's also because she's the leader of Class A and she's the biggest threat towards Koji in the first place, but also towards her connections towards Koji is a more interesting thing about it. But yeah, beyond the character development, I will say, like, I know there's a lot of complaints from the light novel readers from what I've heard that the anime kind of rushed through and missed a lot of the smaller details. I do get that, but in terms of the fact that, like, come on, Honami and Arisu gets a lot of character development this season. Basically, this is an easy 9 for me. It's not perfect because I do see where there's some rushing parts towards it because it just goes from like one test to another. That's kind of where the rushing part for me comes from. There's no breathing room. It just goes straight from one test to another with some character development here and there. Plot twists are good as well. I do get the plot twist and why it's so good, but I also do get why the light novel readers didn't like this season as much because it was rushed as well. I'm not gonna say rushed. To me, it's slightly rushed because I couldn't see where all the small details went. Do I need to give it a 9? I think I need to, at least for me, because again, Honami for me was the biggest thing for me. Bottom tier, Tomozaki-kun got a second season, and I'm so glad this got a second season. And oddly enough, this season got very philosophical. Oddly enough. Namely in the fact that I don't know, like this season got really philosophical for no reason. Although I do say that the first season did kind of hint at something, but this season obviously we got tons of character development from the main character Tomozaki, and how much he's changed as well, all because of Hinami here. But, well, just a lot of things got, not forced, but a lot of things towards the plot mainly happens, mainly because of Hinami pushing it in a ways. But in terms of character development from Tomozaki, heck, Minami, Fuka actually gets some, and heck, even Hanami, the satellite character from the first season, who's actually friends with Hinami, got a lot of character development this season from one of the arcs. Is the philosophical parts really necessary? To me, considering this is more like, you know, self-reflection and talking about betterment of oneself in a ways and how you do that, because overall it is just basically Tomozaki's methods or Hinami's brute force methods. And it does show within the anime with this season. I do understand where it's coming from. There were some like really how do I say this? Like there were some hints that were pretty much you knew where this was going. But overall, beyond the spoilers, was it actually good? Considering, what did I give it for the first season? Because I did like the first season. I gave it an 8. I think I might just give it the same one. To me, it's not... Like, it's definitely good. It's definitely good for a second season because all the character development towards most of the major cast. I do get that. I don't know. To me, it's just missing slightly something. Although I did like the direction this was going, even if it went philosophical, but still, I liked it. But I can't give anything higher. I don't know why. And in comes one of the most controversial animes of winter 2024. That's gushing over magical girls. And the thing is, I know, like, the controversial thing, like, this is ecchi as hell. There's no censors in this one, from what I've heard, at all. And the fact that it's just, like, it's a parody on the magical girl genre, but in the ecchi direction, is all I'm gonna say. And, again, there's no censors. But it's also, like, at first I thought this was a parody of the magical girl genre. Halfway through, it just turns into a freaking battle ecchi shonen. Like, what? And it just, all hell breaks loose, and let's just say, like, to me, like, it wasn't more or less the characters that drove it, besides one, Utena, the main character, who is also pretty much my favorite character as well, but just how it turns the magical genre and just completely flips it around. Like, that got me. That actually got me. Not the ecchi stuff, because let's just say some of the ecchi stuff gets really NSFW. But in terms of, like, the direction I wasn't expecting it to go, and how it just takes the parody and just goes full on. Like, it doesn't care. It doesn't care what you guys think. It will just do whatever it wants, and it will do what the premise does and just goes ham. Like, just, I was not expecting that. I was not expecting that. Again, to me, I thought this was just gonna be like a magical girl genre ecchi parody. Nothing else. I was not. Again, it turns into a freaking battle ecchi shonen. What? And, just, oh my god. I'm not going into more detail beyond that, but let's just say that this, it just, actually no, I'll be spoiling otherwise. I think for me, as I said, I like the direction and the plot more than the characters, and I think that's what drew me in. Besides, obviously, Utena. If I had to give it, full on, its conviction towards what it wanted to do, and how it played on everything it wanted to do. Like, it didn't care. It will do what it wants. 9. I'll give it almost 10, but obviously with the light novel, read the light novel ending kind of scenario. If this does get a second season, I'm not going to be surprised. If it does, then I'll probably give it a 10 because of where it's going. Okay, oh yeah, okay, now here's a little bit of a funny thing because these two are like right next to each other. So, Change Soldier got the censor, yet gushing over magical girls did not get censored whatsoever. I found that completely hilarious. Because this is the more ecchi one. What the heck? And this one is actually more of the battle ecchi shonen. Like, seriously, it's kind of funny how these two came out at the same time. But for this one, as I said, it's a battle ichi shonen. It's also done by the same author as Akame Kill, which I do see as flair in this show. Seriously, I do. Like seriously, like Kyoka is basically Esdeath from Akame Kill. That's just yeah. I think what I liked about this one more than its characters, besides I think the easiest one, like I think everybody loved her when she showed up. That's Tinka. Seriously, Tinka was the best character in this show, 100%. But to me, what I saw from Chain Soldier was more or less the world building and the character development and as to why people became who they were, as well as the powers. Because yeah, let's just say all these characters has powers, and all of them are well. I'm not gonna say completely unique, but just unique and how they utilize it as well. I'm not gonna go into more detail beyond that. Watch it, I say, because if you guys didn't like gushing over magical girls, but you still like ecchi, then go for this one instead. That's all I'm gonna say. I would give this. That's an easy 8. That's an easy 8. Again, much like gushing over magical girls, it took its premise and it executed it mostly well. So yeah, that's an easy. That to me, that just easily says 8. That says 8 for me. Next up is Dungeon Meshi. Okay, so I can't talk about this one as much because this one's a 2-cour and I'm already halfway through it. But let's just say at first, I thought it was basically a slice of life anime with food. It kind of says it because it's delicious in dungeon. It's in the name. And it's also done by Trigger, I believe. Yes, yeah, it's done by Trigger. Let's just say around the halfway point, which is basically the cutoff point for the season as well. It gets very interesting, to say the least, because the first 12 episodes was very slow. It's more in the slice of life, gourmet food section of things. But I was not expecting that some of the episodes were actually important. That's all I'm gonna say, because where it is at now, and the connection on the points and everything, just towards the plot lines, oh my god. Oh my god. The best character currently is probably Marcellus, and like she at the start, I kind of get why a lot of people didn't like Marcellus, because you know she was basically the elf that just complained constantly, but she had to eat monsters at the same time. So I do get that, but at the same time, that's also kind of realistic, considering, you know, instead of having real food, they had to eat monsters to survive. She would complain. But towards like the halfway point, she became a badass and pretty much saved the day during this first arc, let's say. So they did actually use, you know, her being the most annoying character into the most badass character, because with some backstory, yeah, she does become a badass character. But yeah, this one's only halfway through, so I can't really rate it as much, but it's done by Trigger. If you like a slice of life fusion fantasy with a bit of mystery and a bit of action, it's pretty much, well, I'm gonna say the pun here, but it's pretty much a cooking pot of genres here. So if you like that kind of stuff, watch it, in my opinion. This one I didn't watch. Yeah, here we go. Some of the animes I didn't watch. The cheat one. My instant death ability so overpowered, no one in this other world stand a chance against me. Yeah, another long one. Is there a reason why I actually put this on plan to watch? Because it's obviously the yeah, it's probably her. It's probably Sion, Yui Hori. Kiyono Yasuno, Rumi Okubo, Lin. Yeah, I can kind of see why I would have wanted to watch this, but I haven't watched any of this, unfortunately, so that's still on my plan to watch. This one as well. This one as well. Another isekai. Wrong way to use healing magic. Is this an isekai? I'm so sure it is. Yeah, it is. Isekai. Thought as much. I've seen clips and some of the characters, let's say, but beyond that, I haven't touched this one at all. It's just bad timing again for this one. Is there a reason why I wanted to watch this one as well? Asuko Tanaka's in this. Akino Watanabe. Oh my god, these are veterans. Konami Konohara, Rena Yuta, Yoshino Aoyama. Yoshino Aoyama? What? Okay. I'm kind of interested, but this one is more or less the one that I might go back to at some point. But this one was a timing issue for me, so I couldn't watch it. Pon no Michi. Okay, so this one for me has an interesting way of how I finished it, and as you can clearly see, I've already put it as 7. Why? It's because this one was about to be an anime I wasn't going to watch this season, but it opened up towards my daily animes I could watch, like outside of seasonal kind of thing. But let's just say I was actually interested in watching this one at some point within the season. So you can kind of see why this one already has a 7 on it, because it was an anime I wasn't going to watch, but it turned into an anime I basically rushed through to finish it. It's a slice of life mahjong anime. And it's I thought this was a manga. This is an original. Okay, this makes a lot more sense. I did not actually see that. So basically, it's a slice of life comedy mahjong anime. Let's just say it's like Saki, but it's slice of life comedy. That's basically the best way I can say it. Because I know a lot of people about this anime will say that it's about a bunch of novice mahjong players getting to know mahjong, but then they don't teach us mahjong. Only probably a little bit in the first episode, but then afterwards it just goes completely in the comedy route, and sometimes they don't even play mahjong. Then what's the point of being a mahjong anime, right? To me, that's not the entire point. It's not just about mahjong for this kind of show. Because at the start of the first episode, Nashiko here, she says something at the start of this episode that basically tells what this entire anime was about. And that is, I want a place to hang out. She just happens to use his dad's old mahjong parlor as the place to hang out. Because of that, I do see why they don't do mahjong sometimes. She just wants to hang out with her friends and occasionally play mahjong. I think that's where the slice of life comedy aspect comes from, and why a lot of people were just kind of taken aback as to why there wasn't more mahjong in a sense, and as well as, teaching us as well. But again, I do see where this one's coming from, because the main focal point is because of her mantra. She wants to just hang out with her friends and play mahjong. Yeah, I think a lot of people missed that. But yeah, good cast. Yui Kondo, Kaori Maeda, Iori Saiki, Hibiku Yamamura, Shion Wakayama. Just as I said, it's basically a slice of life comedy with mahjong, or if you guys watch Saki, it's Saki with slice of life comedy. Yeah, basically it's that. And I think I know why I gave it a 7, because I just basically said it. So yeah, take that like you will. Tale of Wedding Rings. Okay, so this is another ecchi one, and this one was actually censored a bit, but then got uncensored. Actually, no. I believe this one got the uncensor for the most part. And it's basically a deconstruction of what would happen if like an average Joe character got isekai'd and got all this power and become, the king of his own harem, as well as, you know, having all this unlimited power in being in this isekai world. At first, let's just say that I even made a meme about this. I basically thought that this show was basically like Breath of the Wild in a sense, because think about it. It's a main character who gets transported into a different world, let's say. So Link gets teleported into Hyrule in a sense, and then he needs to travel throughout this new isekai world and find the rings, and in Link's case, stop the ancient beasts, as well as free the heroes, or in this case, for Tales of Wedding Rings, find the ring princesses and stop the Abyss King, or in Link's case, stop Ganon. Do you see the similarities here? Although, later on, I did find that this was more or less a homage towards Lord of the Rings. Like, it makes sense. There's rings involved. There's rings involved with this one. It's more like a homage towards Lord of the Rings, just with harem battle ecchi elements. Yeah. As I said, this is a deconstruction more or less towards the fantasy harem genre. I wasn't expecting it, and I wasn't expecting the Lord of the Rings parallels as well, because seriously, there are parallels with this one as well. I won't say much about this one. If you guys are interested with this one, with just what I just said, I think my favorite character would have to be Sapphire. No, I'm not kidding. Sapphire is my favorite character. Namely because of her sassiness. I just, you know, I like her for that. And the fact that she's very genre savvy, oddly enough. And yeah, she's voiced by Ai Kakuma. Yeah. To me, it just became a no-brainer. She was my favorite character. But second is probably Crystal as well. But with that, yeah, this one's actually getting a second season. To me, this one was more as a surprise. This is getting a second season, but considering where it finished with the first season, I can kind of see it. Actually, I'm not going to spoilers. Let's just leave it at that. For now, even with all the homages given to it, for now it's probably a good one. Just for now, it's just very good for what it's doing. Hopefully it lands execution in the second season, so we'll see about that. If it does, probably I'll give it a 9. Next up, this one. I didn't watch it. Timing again, but I am interested in this one because it's about, from what I remember, it's about, yeah, she is, yeah. It's, to me, this one's probably interesting to watch for a romance anime. Yeah, now Toyama's also in this. I wanted to watch this one, but I think this one was timing issue, so I couldn't. Speaking of romance, meet probably my favorite romance anime this season, and yeah, I'm not even hiding this one. Being a second season and all, I did say, I believe in the first season, that I did like this anime's relationship, namely with Ichikawa and Yamada. What did I give it? I gave it a 9. Oh yeah, so yeah, definitely got an upgrade because I gave it a 10 now. Like, there's no understatement to me for this one. But I did realize why I like this romance anime like a lot. Because it's not only that I like the main female character, because that's always a kind of thing for this like romance thing. You would always, like, for a guy like me, you will always like the female main protagonist and everything, but I also like the main male character as well, because he develops so much in this. Because, like, at the start, from the first season alone, he wanted to kill Yamada, but that was just his Chuny side talking to himself. But at the same time, he develops as a character, he gets over his inferiority complex, and, like, he develops so much that I was just kind of like, I wanted this relationship between Ichikawa and Yamada to work. It's also a relationship that I actually really liked as well, and I also liked both characters at the same time. Not a lot of romances to me actually gets this right of getting both characters in the relationship for me to like both of them, as well as their relationship. Not a lot of romances does that for me, and this one just hit the nail for me completely. And the second season hit the nail as well. Absolute 10 for me. Just, I loved this show in terms of the romance aspect. Not to mention, best wing woman of Moiko as well, because she's seriously best wing woman. As well as the fact that, like, not only, like, you know, character development and relationship development, but we also got to meet Anna's parents as well as from the previous season, we got to meet Ichikawa's parents through Anna as well, etc., etc. And I think this season as well, also the same thing happened. So not only it's just like these two having a relationship, but they also got to meet the parents as well. The push is there. The push was obviously there. I'm just gushing about this one because this one was a complete surprise to me. Even from the first season, this romance anime was a complete surprise to me as to why I liked it, and it just shows. Again, not a lot of romance shows for me gets it right that the main character and the main male character and the main female character is both of them that I like, and I want both of, you know, their relationships to work and to, you know, to get there, you know? Not a lot of romance animes for me actually does that, and this one just hit the nail on the head. It did it completely right. I know it's adolescent love and everything, but at the same time, the development it did for both Anna and Ichikawa, just the progression was so good. Seriously, watch this show. Just, oh my god, just the amount of gushing I'm doing with this one. Just, it deserves a 10. It deserves a 10. I'll know Exorcist. This one, okay, let's just say, this one is, I'll give it a 9. It's actually pretty good. Because, from the, oh yeah, it's getting a sequel as well. Because this one is probably the third season, I believe. Third season? Is it third season? Yeah, it's the third season. What did I give it? The first season I gave it an 8. It was huge back in the day. Yeah, 2011, man. That was, oh jeez, that was 13 years ago. And then the second season came out in 2017. So, 7 years ago. And I gave it a 9, so I got a little bit better. And I'm still giving it a 9. But, like, for me, this one was actually another, it was another step up. But I'm still giving it a 9. Namely because this season is mainly focused on one of the characters who basically didn't get a lot of development. That being, where is she? That being Izumo. Finally got some character development, because she was always the annoyed tsundere most of the time. She finally got some character development from this season, and I was so happy about it, because this one gets so dark. Because, again, I think just from the tagline alone, Illuminati Saga, this one gets very dark. Like, human experimentation dark. It gets very dark. That's all I'm gonna say. But this one, in my opinion, it finally got very interesting because a lot of the stuff it was building up from the last 2 seasons, and I'm gonna say probably movie as well, it finally pays off here. Like finally, we finally get to see what the heck is going on. It's just besides the first season, the second season felt like it was waffling. The movie was to be expected. This season finally has some payoff towards some of its characters. So yeah, it's kind of obvious I'm going to give this a 9 because it finally answers some questions. Although it brings up even more questions, so yeah, it's kind of expected that there's going to be a second season with this one. Or just another season that carries on with it because, yeah, as I said, a lot more questions arose from this season. As well as some answered, which I like, so yeah. Easy 9. This one was okay. This one I can't pinpoint what I have to say about this one, but let's just say it's the polar opposite of Dangers in My Heart 2, because I think this one mood whiplashed me a little bit, not in a good way. So basically, like I'm gonna short summarize this one. Basically, Lily here is an angel. Masatora is a devil. You can kind of see where this one is going along because let's just say that her, yeah, she's not as angelic as you think, but she's more sadistic, let's just say. And she reigns Masatora here Inuyasha style, and pretty much yeah, Masatori basically becomes the lapdog towards Lily, an angel, and stuff happens, and then it only gets very interesting towards the end, and then that's about it. There's obviously a bit of comedy towards this, especially during the bulk of this anime. Do you see why I'm a little bit unsure about this one? Because it's the will they, won't they, and they won't spit it out at the same time scenario for this one. So a lot of the bulk of this anime is just them unable to spit it out that they like each other. And a lot of it's comedy, a lot of it is waffling about. It doesn't get serious until the last 3 episodes, and whatever plot twist comes along with this, I just wasn't as like, the plot twist was engaging, but the bulk of this anime, I wasn't as engaged, oddly enough. Like, just I don't like, as I said, it's a mood whiplash for me because I just didn't understand the direction this one went, and the will they, won't they was getting very annoying, although its comedy was probably its best strength, and that's kind of bad if this is supposed to be a romance anime, yet its comedy is its best aspect. Because the biggest problem is if your main female protagonist gets, to me, overshadowed by the beta female character here. You can see why you have a problem. Do you see why this is, for me, the polar opposite of Dangers in My Heart? Because it mood whiplashes you. Its comedy is more important than its romance. At the same time, the main protagonists can't spit it out, and it gets very dark towards the end. It just felt like it was going all over the place. I didn't really understand the direction it was going. It wasn't also engaging me at the same time during its bulk. I didn't understand this one, to be honest. I wanted to, but it just kept delaying everything. I think that's the best way I can say it. I didn't understand this one. I wanted to, but just every single time it just keeps pushing its comedy aspect instead of its romance aspect, and I couldn't engage towards it, therefore. I think I have to give this a 6. Actually, no, 6 is too harsh. I might just give this a 7. Because I think I know another anime in this season that I didn't like as much. Probably worse in this aspect. But for this one, for the romance aspect, where this was supposed to be a romance show, it was more of a comedy show. Like, the genres, to me, it just didn't clash properly as well. Because let's just say that Dangers in My Heart 2 also had a bit of comedy, but it pulled that one off much better compared to this one. This one just threw memes for no good reason because it could. This one I skipped. Dr. Elise, I believe this is the manhwa that got adapted. But yeah, I skipped this one because of timing issues, so I couldn't watch it. So, yep. Oh, I missed one. The Gal Hokkaido anime, and this one is, to me, another polar opposite towards the Angel and Devil one, because here's the funniest thing, you guys, because this came out both during the same day as well. Lily voices Aina Sakura, and in this one, Aina Sakura voices another blonde. Within the same days too. Just I found it really funny. I believe I called Tuesdays, which is the day that both of these shows came out. I called it Blonde Aina Sakura Tuesdays because that's exactly what it was. But for this Hokkaido Gals anime, let's just say, yeah, this one was much better than the Angels and Devil one. Mainly because it's just like, it's about Hokkaido gals, and the main protagonist is basically he's a Tokyo resident who moved to Hokkaido, and because of that, because you know Tokyo's the hip place and everything, and Hokkaido is like bumfuck. I'm not gonna say bumfuck nowhere, just like. It's far away from Tokyo. It's far away from Tokyo, and therefore, because it's the chic place compared to, you know, Hokkaido, and this one has Garus here. Obviously, they'll be interested in the main protagonist because it's a chic place, and they want to know about Tokyo and everything. That's why these two actually become, I'm not gonna say couple because it's not much of a spoiler, but these two become a little bit connected because of that. In the aspects of like Dangers in My Heart 2, like how I like the main female protagonist, main male protagonist, and its relationship, that's kind of how I base off a lot of romance shows. This one is actually like a pseudo harem, pseudo romance show at the same time. Tsubasa is basically, to me, it's like 50% I like him, because although he's kind of dense at the same time, he does kind of get the hints a little bit. He still has a little bit of denseness, but he does care about a lot of the characters here, not just the main female protagonist, but obviously to me, Fuyuki basically carried this show. So yeah, you can kind of see what I'm feeling about this show, because besides the first episode, it gets into the bulk of showing the rest of the characters, like another Garu, like Sayuri and Rena. And then it's not until like it's nearly finished that they finally actually address the issue of Tsubasa and Minami as a relationship and couple kind of thing. Something slightly serious happens, but then it gets resolved pretty quickly. Did I like this show either way? In comparison to the Angels and Devil one, I do actually like it. But again, since this is a pseudo harem romance show, Shiki covered like 50% of it. I'm fine with that. But as I said, Fuyuki basically carried the show. So wait, what's it called? Dansaka Garu is mega cute. Yeah, it is. It's a bit better than the Angels one. I think I'll give this an 8. It's still good. It's still good though. It's still good though. It's better. It's like I'm gonna keep on saying it. This is better than the Angels one in terms of romance, even though it's a pseudo harem at the same time. Yeah, I'll give this an 8. Finish this column. I skipped this one. You just not gonna say much about it. Metallic Rouge. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay, so you know what I talked about engagement compared to, you know, with the Angels and Devils romance show. This is the one I couldn't engage in whatsoever. I tried to, definitely I tried to. It was, you know, interesting because it's about like cyborgs basically battling each other, and that sounds cool and all, but I just couldn't engage with it. I don't know why. I don't know why I couldn't engage with it. Like, maybe it's the fact that it wasn't in media res, like how it started wasn't in media res, so all these characters that we like barely know, we do get some backstory towards some of them, but the majority of it's just, hey, let's go to this place, something happens, let's go to this place, something happens, a fight happens, let's go to this place, something happens, backstory happens, and a fight happens. Like, I just couldn't engage with it, even though they were like telling us backstories towards a lot of these characters and everything, and some plot twists here and there. I couldn't engage with it, like, at all. I think by the halfway point, I think I looked at more of my phone than I did with the show, and that's a very bad sign. I didn't sleep, like I didn't take a nap like I did with the Kizuna Ai anime, but this one became very close to doing it, trust me. I think, like, I don't know, like, I think this is a me problem for me, because I'm so sure a lot of people would have liked this one, but for me, I couldn't, like, to me, I think the biggest problem for me was that I couldn't engage with its plot and its characters. In media res was also a problem, but at the same time, just in general, I just couldn't engage with it. I just don't know why I couldn't engage with it. And I think because of that, oh boy, here we go. Yeah. It does have potential, but I think this is a me thing, so I couldn't engage. I don't know why. It just became so boring to me. And I'm so sure this is an original one as well. Yes, an original one by Bones, and I couldn't engage with it. It's done by Bones. I don't know what happened. To me, I don't know what happened with this one. I really don't. Like, Yumi Miyamoto, Tomoyo Kurosawa voiced Naomi? What? Marisa Issei, yeah, that I knew. Haruka Shiraishi's Science, just, oh my god. Good cast, but just, what the hell plot? I couldn't engage with it. That's what I'm gonna say about this one. I couldn't engage with it. Speaking of engagement, oh yeah, so that's the finale. Let's end off on a good note. I completely enjoyed this one. Holy crap, in my opinion, this one is the best comedy. This one came out of nowhere for me. Like, to me, this show, it's like, how can I say this? Think Asobase, but in a bar. That's the best way I can say it. And it just goes meta as well. This one is so meta a lot of the times. But basically, like, this show, I basically wanted to watch it because of Akemi, because Akemi is voiced by Rii Takahashi. But just, this show is so wacky, it's so wild. I wasn't expecting it. Like, it's basically a skit show, but where it uses its comedy, it does its meta joking very well, doesn't overuse it at the same time, and it just like defies sometimes with its comedy. It's just so out of the box, and it's so funny. A lot, like, I laughed so much with this show. And yeah, you do see you do see a certain Subaru here, and there's a reason why, because I found this out as well. But the studio who made Snack Barasu is also the same one that made, oh looky here, Isekai Quartet, so I wonder why. Yeah, it's the same studio who made Isekai Quartet. So them referencing ReZero with the same voice actors in the role, yes, yeah, Emilia and Subaru. Yeah, you can kind of see where this one's coming from in the meta joking. Like seriously, this show in terms of comedy is so underrated. It is so funny. Like it is crass as well. It does not care what you guys think, and it's like the meta joking. I'm not just talking about, oh hey, like what I just talked about, like Rie Takahashi and Yusuke Koyabashi referencing ReZero and them not implementing and saying, oh yeah, here's a ReZero reference. No, as in there are times when this show actually fix with its audio intentionally. Like I think there was a skit where Akemi just kept on moving her mouth but no audio came out, and at one point one of the patrons of the snack bar basically says, you're moving your mouth but there's no audio coming out of it, like intentionally meta joking, referencing, and I just found that one so funny. Like it's meta joking, and they use it liberally, and it's so funny when they actually do it as well, because it's so out of left field and it's so funny, but they expect that from you. Like be surprised at this show. This show is so funny. There's a reason I'm giving it a 10 out of 10 with this one. This one is so underrated. This show is so underrated. Okay, so those are done. There are two things I need to talk about with the shows that are continuing. I actually finished off Fenren. So this was a show I was actually meaning to watch last season, but I actually completely finished watching it this season, and yeah, easy 10. I'm not going to go into too much depth with this one because it's Fenren. Like seriously guys, watch this one. If you've missed like old school fantasy, seriously watch this one. And obviously it's getting a second season from what I've heard, so yay. Okay, Shangri-La, blah blah blah. Ragnar Crimson, I still haven't watched this one. I still haven't watched Shangri-La as well, although I need to. Undead Unluck. So this one, I believe I watched the first half during the previous season. This season's obviously finishing it, and wow, this needs a second season. This show is so good. Like I believe the problem is Disney Plus, but like this show is just so good in terms of its shonen aspects. Just like how the fights happen. There's some meta references towards it, but it's actually intentional at the same time. And just all the plot twists that happen with this show is so good. I see why a lot of people like it. I'm not gonna say it's gonna flip the entire shonen on its head and anything. It just utilizes its shonen aspects in a different way, and it just goes full force with it, especially with its main duo of Fuko and Andy. It's just, this show is so good in terms of shonen aspects. It is so good. If Disney Plus is in the way, that's a bit of a problem, which is kind of why I see why a lot of people didn't watch it, although considering now a lot of people do watch it, it's good. But yeah, this show, easy 10 out of 10. This show is so good. Like if you want a refreshing shonen, this is it, in my opinion. I know what you guys are gonna say, but what about Jujutsu Kaisen? I haven't watched it, so I'm not gonna compare it. But yeah, for me, like Undead Unlock, just for me, it was pretty much the shonen for both seasons. It was so good. So I think that is about it. Oh yeah, I still haven't watched Apothecary Diaries. I do need to watch it because I heard this one's also getting a second season, and this one's a 2-episode for Dead Demons Destruction. Oh, it's basically a movie. Probably. Oh yeah, it's an hour each. Okay, I get with it. Oh yeah, it is a movie, an hour each. So I think that does it for winter 2024. Best fantasy for winter 2024 is, in my opinion, it's Fenrir. Best shonen goes to Undead Unlock. Best romance easily goes to Dangers in My Heart 2. Just seriously, it's so good. Best ecchi probably goes to, well, this one's a no-brainer, Gushing over Magical Girls. And best psychological, to me, probably goes to... Oh, it's a tie between these two, actually. But probably best psychological probably goes to Classroom the Elite 3. So yeah, I think that does it for my Winter 2024 animes. So comment below what you felt about Winter 2024's animes. And let me know. With that, LA out.